So I made a poll a while ago asking what videos you guys wanted, and the One Piece bounty video gained the most votes, so that video should be out by now as this video is being made. I plan to do all of these videos in order by votes, so the Deku vs S-Class heroes is the one I'll be doing next. This matchup I've wanted to do for a while since both shows are superhero based, and One Punch Man has his own hierarchy system of heroes based on strength, so obviously I want to see how Deku would do against the strongest heroes. If you want more matchups like this, then please like and subscribe. I'm at 250 subs as of this recording, and I want to hit 500 subs as soon as possible. It's free and you can always unsub at any time. So with that out of the way, enjoy the video. I'll go ahead and start with Deku. This is the first time I've ever scaled a My Hero character, so I gathered a lot of this scaling based on research I did on other channels. I'll go ahead and start with lower end feats and build up from there. There's characters like All Might and All For One blowing apart massive cities while being extremely nerfed. All Might as well had the capability of changing the weather with a single punch, who at the time was 60 times weaker than he was in his prime, as it took a weakened All Might over 300 punches to defeat Nemu, and then Self said his prime self could have defeated him with just 5. These feats from a weakened All Might and All For One should be between the range of city level or mountain level. Next there is the feat of Deku and Bakugo being able to punch away an island-sized storm. Some calcs I've seen have it at country or even continental, with continental being the more accurate side of scaling, as Deku was able to perform this same feat again all on his own at the end of the series. The context of this feat also makes the continental scaling even more concrete, as the storm itself is just not another island-sized storm, but it was implied to be happening across the entire world. We see this as Deku's punch was able to change the weather of both Japan and America. This punch wasn't even directed towards the storm itself, it was just a shockwave from that punch that was able to clear the storm, making this feat way stronger than it was shown to be. From what I've seen from other creators, they've got this skill to around continental or multi-continental, and some calcs have this feat between multi-continental or even moon level. For how I see it, I think this should definitely be in the tier of multi-con. Stars and Stripes also has a feat that places her at multi-continental, so it should be obvious Deku would scale there too. I now want to talk about speed, from which I've seen is extremely contentious within the scaling community. There are clear indications of characters being lightning timers. Most top tiers would be faster than Kim and Nari who can produce actual lightning, but it's when you get to light speed metas where it gets more complicated. There are a ton of demonstrations of characters dodging things like lasers or radio waves which are considered light, but most of these feats do have a counter argument. For example, the naval lasers are stated numerous times to have the properties of light, or having photons, which is what produces light, but these lasers do not at all behave like light whatsoever. It does seem to act like its own property instead of being straight light itself, so I won't be using that to scale Deku's speed. But either way, there are still tons of other ways to get Deku to light speed. Deku himself has been able to straight up dodge multiple lasers in the third movie. Deku was also able to dodge Shigaraki's radio waves. Stars and Stripes as well has feats of reacting and intercepting lasers. And there are still tons of calculations out there that get these feats either near or above the speed of light. And Deku at the end of the series would obviously scale above all of this, making Deku at the very worst FTL+. Now finally I can get into his quirks. The most reliable one that he has is his Black Whip, which gives him a lot of versatility such as holding people in place, guarding himself, throwing things around, or being able to swing himself around for more agility. His next quirk is Fa Jin, which basically allows him to store kinetic energy and enhances the output of his attacks. It also allows him to temporarily fly. Finally, his strongest quirk being Gear Shift, which allows him to manipulate the speed of his attacks by defying the laws of physics. And he also has Spidey Sense. With all of this said, how well can he do against the S-Class heroes? Now moving on to a stronger tier of characters, we have the S-Class heroes. This group does have a massive range of scaling between these 17 people. The weaker ones being town to city level like the A-Class heroes, to the strongest being outright in the planetary ranges. The weaker side of the S-Class heroes being Piri Piri Prisoner, Zombie Man, and Drive Knight, like I said, have town level AP, but with lightning timer speed as well, as one of them was able to block lightning point blank, and another having massively hypersonic calculations. Darkshine and Child Emperor being slightly stronger than the previous mentioned characters, have feats that scale into mountain levels, like Darkshine damaging Psychos and Human Garo. Metal Knight and Child Emperor being relative to each other, and both should be comparable or above Darkshine given their firepower and weaponry. The higher tiers of the S-Class being Metal Bat, Bang, Atomic Samurai, and Flashy Flash, who all have feats that should scale them between country level to multi-continental, as all of these people have feats against people like Monster Garo and Golden S. And apart from the rest, these three, excluding Metal Bat, should be faster than light, as Flashy Flash is stated to be able to travel with the speed of light, and has the feats to back it up, by reacting and dodging Monster Garo and Platinum S. Bang as well has feats of matching Monster Garo in speed, and Atomic Samurai being a higher rank should scale his speed above both of them. And for the very strongest characters in this tier, we have Genos, Tatsumaki, and Blast. Tatsumaki and Genos have both been able to trade blows with Sairochi, who has demonstrated feats like lifting large chunks of the earth, that calculate between multi-con to small planet. Genos wouldn't directly scale to Sairochi, but Tatsumaki would definitely scale above her, as she was able to one-shot her once she stopped holding back, giving Tatsumaki planetary AP and Genos around multi-continental. Both of them as well having faster than light plus combat speeds by scaling far above the rest of the S-Class heroes I mentioned earlier. And to top it off, we have the strongest hero being Blast. Blast having multiple feats that scale him to Cosmic Garo, and his biggest feat of being able to survive a connection of 2 serious punches, which would scale Blast at a low ball of multi-solar system. With all of this said, can the strongest hero in My Hero Academia beat the strongest heroes in One Punch Man? As for the weaker side of this group, Deku is easily washing them. Piri Piri Prisoner, Tank Top Master, Darkshine, and Zombie Man are pure raw stats with no abilities, so they stand no chance. Drive Knight has a lot more options with his versatility, but Deku is still going to overwhelm him with just one Fajin attack. Child Emperor and Metal Knight are the same case. Even with prep time, they still don't have the output to hurt Deku. Now as for the stronger side of this group, including Middle Bat, Flashy Flash, Bang, and Atomic Samurai, all of them are just as strong and just as fast as Deku. Middle Bat will be the easiest to deal with, as he only gets stronger the more damage he takes, and his base stats don't really sit at Continental, so unless Deku doesn't one-shot him with Fajin, then he won't have much of a problem. Bang and Atomic Samurai are gonna be the main ones to make Deku struggle, as both of them are just much more skilled fighters and have a perfect mix of offense and defense. Deku could probably beat Atomic Samurai. His durability and endurance is pretty dog shitty for the most part, but as for Bang, I don't think Deku has a real fighting chance. Bang is overall just a much better hand-to-hand fighter, and also has the stamina and endurance to outlast him. Deku's best way in beating him is in gear shift, but again, Bang has the perfect mix of offense and defense, so once he is able to adapt to Deku's speed, it's basically over. The same goes with Genos, Tatsumaki, and Blast. Both Genos and Tatsumaki are outright stronger than him, and both have way too many hacks for Deku to deal with at once. Blast as well can just wipe his ass with Deku. None of his quirks are going to be useful here, especially against these three. Oh, and I also forgot to mention King. So yeah, as for the entire group, Deku should clear through most of them. There are a lot of other characters I didn't bother mentioning as they don't have that many feats as of yet, and either way they will still probably lose. I believe Deku should stop at Bang, Genos, Tatsumaki, Blast, and King. But other than that, Deku is definitely worthy of being an S-Class hero within One Punch Man. But that's all I have for this video. Let me know in the comments if you think Deku would beat all of the S-Class, or maybe he doesn't beat any. If you enjoyed this video and want more, obviously leave a like and subscribe. Please help me reach 500 subs. Please!